Nice. Welcome to the STUUR podcast. Alright, so today we'll be discussing a couple of topics in no way extensively, but we're trying to give like a bit of a context to some of the issues students are facing and to some of the things STUUR stands for. We will be talking with Bart, who's a board member of STUUR, and we'll try and figure it out. So, what do you want to start with?
I think housing is very present for the people, and also nationally there's a big plan for all the student unions for a huge housing campaign. So the housing situation is also obviously very drastic in the Netherlands. There's a huge shortage, maybe you can give a little context.
Yep, sure. Well, the thing is, about 50% of student homes are owned by the private sector, so this is landlords or big companies. And there's been some new law passed through, and because of this, there have been, in Rotterdam alone, there have been over 1,000 homes that have been sold this year, which is twice as much as in ordinary years. And the data on this is, well, it will pretty much only get worse.
Yeah, so the housing shortage is here, and it's always getting worse. And the result is obviously that housing prices are rapidly increasing, and nobody can pay the house bills. And especially international students are really facing these dilemmas. I know many people are paying $1,000 €1,000 a month just for rent inclusive, and also many people can just not find a house, which is very disruptive if you're trying to study and have just a normal life.
I completely agree. I don't know if you've had any issues with housing.
I've had issues. Last year I started looking for a house around December, and I could find myself a house 2 days before my current place of stay was gonna run out because of the contract. And then I found a place, but then even while trying to find a place, I've had a lot of problems regarding being an international student, because people would either try to put some really stupid number, and then what happens is basically that you get disregarded. You're not seen as equals with any other type of people. If you're an expat, then you're beloved by these rental companies.
Yes.
But if you're just some international student that they don't want you in their house, and even if they do, then they're gonna propose a higher number for rent than it should be. And then of course within international students there's also what I feel like discrimination based on nationality.
Okay.
I do think that it's really harder for students who are coming here from the Middle East, Far East, or Central Asia compared to students who come here from Western European countries like Germany, France. And overall, I think it's very hard, and it sucks to see that this many people are trying to take advantage while also disregard international students in the housing market.
Yeah, because it really seems like they're mostly focused on profit.
Exactly.
They do not really care about what you're. Because do you know what is actually interesting is a couple of years ago when the housing prices became too high for Dutch people for rent, they were super happy with the international students, and that's when the overcharging began. And it's kind of this instrumentalized use of people.
Exactly.
For the purpose of profit.
Yeah.
And this is really, really bad.
Yeah, the stuff we're talking about is housing. So legit just having a bed to sleep on and having a kitchen to make food and, just general, just very general basic needs of people. And it's becoming, it's being industrialized and being turned into a market where it's only for profit.
Yeah.
And that is also why they like international so much, because they don't have a backup. Because a Dutch person can just go back to their parents when they cannot find a house, but internationals need to go back to their home, to their country, and then you cannot complete your studies, and the whole reason you were here So you are in a very precarious situation to which your landlord, and this creates such a power dynamic where the landlord can just do whatever.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we're seeing today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's abusing people who are with it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's abusing people for rent and for profit extraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that is constitutionally a basic right for every Dutch national.
Yes.
So it's really concerning. Really concerning thing that we are living with.
Mm. Yeah, I think the motives are actually really, really scary.
Yeah.
And the thing is now, when they do not... With the law that was proposed, it meant that landlords would be able to make less of a profit. This has caused them selling all of their homes. But if you take this into account, it basically means that before this law was passed, they overcharged everyone, and now that they can't do so anymore,
they're selling out.
Yeah. So there's really, structurally, there's a lot of issues with this as well. And I think in Rotterdam you can also see, for example, the Rijnhaven Island they're building. There'll be nothing but white-collar apartments there. With the supermarkets and the gym at the bottom, so that you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Only houses for 5k with for 5 tons and above.
Yeah. They're not making any improvements in terms of social housing. I know there's some plans, but it's just much too little.
Yeah, but what happens when they turn this Rijnhaven Island into this gentrified area? The rest of the area's housing prices will go up naturally, and then the people who were already living there are going to have to be pushed out of city even more.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's also... Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
I think you can.
Okay. So then it's fucking everybody over. You know, not just students, but the Dutch, the elderly, the young. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so sad because historically the Netherlands has fixed its housing situation for such a long time. Because in the 80s and the 90s, you have absolutely no housing crisis to speak of. So you have huge social housing corporations that built not with a profit motive, but with a motive to actually provide good housing for everybody affordably. But in 2008, with the second VVD cabinet, they removed the way that the social housing became all for-profit businesses.
Yes.
The way that Staff Blok invited all the way that all international big capitalists to invest in the Dutch housing market, and this way that escalated till where we are today, where everything is for profit and nothing, and everybody is suffering. Normal people are suffering because some people are making huge bank off the backs of others. So
do we know how much of the housing market is privatized?
I know only for student housing. For student housing, it is so that 50% of homes are in the private sector. So 50%. So this may kind of indicate better if this many homes are being sold and more are to come. You also need to imagine that in the private sector there's also landlords that maybe do overcharge, but then they still don't make a shit ton of money because they don't have 20, 30 homes, but maybe just 3 or 4, which is a lot. Most people don't have any, thank you. But the thing is, you see this dependency on the private sector, and it's kind of grown into this thing where if they consume a large enough part of the market, say for example you take the strategy of Uber versus taxis. Uber has, for the first years it existed, I'm still not quite sure if it has now, but it has not turned a single profit. The thing is, if you keep on investing in this because you're working with people who have loads of cash, you can take over this huge market share, and because normal taxi drivers, smaller companies, they cannot afford to not make a profit. They cannot afford to lose so much money, and then you kind of subsume this larger part of the market. And simply by having so much, you can do something such as really, really fucking over internationals. I don't know what city it was again, but there was this student who, for 10 square meters, had to pay 1,500 euros or something. But then they used rent checker, which is something we'll list down below. through which you can actually see what would be the price that kind of corresponds to the home you're living in.
Yeah. Because it's important to note that last year there was a new law that is signed, which is the old point system that we already had, but was abolished. But we have it again. It's good. And you essentially, for like how many square feet your kitchen is, how many square feet your house is, you get points, and the landlord cannot ask more than a certain amount within these points. So you have a protected rent system. So if you think your landlord is exploiting you and asking way too much, go to this site and see how much points you have, and you can legally fight your rent. So it's very good. Very good new law that you can use to protect yourself. Yeah,
it's nice that we actually have some sort of rent control.
Finally. After so many years, we have a new tool that we can use.
But it isn't like, I don't think it's a tool that's widely used or recognized.
No.
Because if you look at some of the conditions that people are living in who are paying above, for example, 900, 1,000 euros, it's and then like, since international students also don't constantly follow Dutch media, they would have no awareness of this law being implemented.
Also, the stakes of like going in against your landlord are much higher. Say the landlord decides to fuck you over. There's very, very few people you can call.
Just in general, but you have in the city of Rotterdam, you have a very good organization that can help you. We put it in the description because I forgot. So they will help you legally, but going against your landlord is obviously sometimes a big step, because they literally control your house.
It's there's power dynamics at play generally, but the way that has exploded since like the private sector came around is just bizarre, really. But Je Goedrecht actually works to help you for free as well, which is nice. And if you have any questions about this, we'll probably post a bit of a short informational video about it as well, together with the rent checker. I think that's good. Did you have any other thoughts remaining on the housing?
I just don't like I just don't like the idea of every market being privatized like that. Because when you leave it to the hands of the people who are just in it for the profits, then it's gonna deviate from the original purpose itself. And you can see that in everything, not just housing. Look at any company that should belong to the government but is privatized in the Netherlands, such as NS, PostNL. Like that's why NS is so expensive as well. And the companies that they use as consultants. It's also why like the trains break down every 2 days.
It's also why it took so fucking long to build the afsluitdijk again.
It's just like a mini module of what happens when you privatize an industry. You know, you get shittier quality because then everybody in the game is in it for the profit.
Yep, and that's all thanks to Adam Smith. But, we should probably also kind of note that the housing crisis is not something we see here only. This is something that's happening throughout most of the world. And you see this especially in larger cities. And a city like Rotterdam, of course, we see a lot of this. But I think the situation is worse even in like a couple of other cities as well.
In the Netherlands it's rated countrywide, but also in literally every Western developed country you see this. In Australia, England, United States. It's all the same problem with housing prices are way too high because there's too much capital in the game, so large corporations buy a lot of houses, and because the housing price is so high, starters cannot move in. The age when people buy houses is rising rapidly in every country, and it's all the same with its root cause. There's too much capital it's all being poured into physical assets like the housing market. So just like gold, houses are becoming is a commodity, and we all getting fucked by it. Yeah. So it's not just a Netherlands problem, it's a global problem.
Yes.
So, and that is not something we can fix here in Rotterdam in our little studio. But the way it's trying to fight back, and with the with rent, the point system, and with all these things, is little steps you can take a little bit control back.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Do you think, like, us, as in, you know, this generation or whatever, do you think we're going to be able to, like, actually buy houses in our lifetime? Because the average age which people buy houses, and I'm talking about finishing, paying for mortgage and stuff that, it's, I think it's exponentially increasing over the last 50 years. And to be honest, lately I've been thinking to myself, I'm going to be, I don't know, 55, 60, and I'm going to be living in a rental home.
Yeah.
Which is not that bad of a thought. It's just that our norms and, like, the living standards are increasingly decreasing.
Yeah. Yes. No, it's very sad that essentially after the 2 generations of with its rapid economic growth and with its standards of living rising, we are now in a generation where because of the huge disparity between incomes, so with a lot of little people have a lot of capital, and that's growing increasingly, and that increasing capital is being funded by increasingly making with its working class go into more debt. And that is what we're seeing in America. They have like 50 years mortgages now.
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
You might as well rent.
Yeah, you might as well rent, you know? But with it, our standard of living is not dropping as dramatically because we are financing it all with debt. And that's very... Yeah, with it. And our generation is going to be poorer than our parents. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's all because of the massive wealth inequality that is continuing to grow and grow and grow after 2008 and after the Corona crisis, the massive spikes in the wealth inequality.
Yeah,
you're speaking like a communist. I don't like it.
No, it's wealth inequality is the main engine in the Western world why governments are in such predicament, because also, like we talked about, all these assets are given to private companies like NS, all these things, and houses. So when you give your authority away to the private market, you don't want to tax them, obviously, because VVD and whatever. I guess you think it's good for like free enterprise. So yeah, with it, what you result, that is also what we're seeing with our economic situation here in the Netherlands. With the new government has a budget deficit of $13 billion, and the half of it is because they want to give everything to the military. So half is to the military. Yeah. We can talk about later, and half is just because they are losing money. The way that they're losing money. So just like in England or just like in France, what they probably will do is tax the middle class and the poorest, the working poor way more, and go more into more government debt, and the rich just get richer, weighted by a natural result, because if you don't tax them now, or then the train already left the station. So it's a problem that is keeping with it going and going and going, and if you and we're not stopping it, so
and then
till the next economic crash, and then with it people will lose a lot, and some people will come out as bandits. But
I think with the current situation, I think after like the world wars, we've got ourselves into this economical structure which really profited us, I guess, in the first 20-30 years, and I think right now we're facing the consequences of it. But like you said, I think it's like how like when a snowball starts rolling down a mountain, it eventually gets bigger, and so now we're knee deep in this shit. And if any other ideology proposes an alternative, then people like to show all the instances where, I don't know, stuff like socialism or communism failed, which is valid, but then again, I think it draws us from the main point, which is right now, shit is not good.
Yeah. And we also don't need to forget that capitalism also failed in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Because with it in the 1920s, you saw rapid escalation of wealth. You saw that people were financing a lot of shit with debt, and using this to play it in the stock market, which was rising rapidly.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of wealth, and you had a bubble, and that popped, and then you had a 10-year economic disaster where tens of thousands of people in the world died. And that is exactly like the way that the structures that you saw in the 20s are happening again.
Exactly.
So capitalism has failed once, and it will fail again, I'm fearing. We need a solution that is different than what we did before.
I agree.
Yeah, but I don't want a doctor to earn the same as a garbage man. I want to have my own PlayStation. Fuck you mean I can't have my own PlayStation? Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, borrow mine if you want.
Huh?
But
thank you, Conrad.
No problem. No problem. I think it's also a worthy point of notice. Like, it's not like you need to be fully anti-capitalist, going communist.
No.
What we're talking about here is mostly the elements that are hyper-capitalism, where you have a military-industrial complex, you have so much stuff going on, you have a bunch of bullshit products, you have so much food waste, you have 50 million people working in modern slavery to support all of this. And these often don't get mentioned. They don't get mentioned in organizational psychology as well. I think the real issues are virtual work and a differing labor market. So thank you for taking care of the real issues, Mr. Bakker.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Okay. But you kind of mentioned also how this has caused governments to go into debt, and now governments are, well, in a bit of a pickle. They don't really know what to do, and I think this might be a good leeway to the second subject, because what we also see is that they're now attacking education. Yes. And this is also something we see globally. There's a lot of this in the United States, there's a lot of this in most other European countries. The numbers for the Netherlands and Germany and Belgium are roughly the same to this extent. However, there's the thing you see here also, because we were talking about the dependency on the private sector, this will also grow much, much worse if you cut funding from education. And I think this might be a movement that is even more dangerous and less easy to repair, because of this we'll also have much less critical voices against the regime, because historically universities have been a place for such opinions to be expressed. They've not always been turned into action, but it's kind of a breeding place for ideas such as these, whether it's in the United States in the Vietnam War, whether it's with the global Gen Z protest we see happening now, or I think in Serbia there was recently like big protests as well. I think that's kind of enough now for the introduction of the budget cuts. I think maybe we should switch to the situation in the Netherlands a bit.
Because the original budget cuts was $2 billion. And luckily the student unions really protested against this, and they put a lot of pressure on the government together with the teachers. So now it's lowered to $1.2 billion. 1.2 now, I think, something like that. Still not ideal. You would like none, because and with it, these budget cuts already passed last year, so they're definitely coming. And I'm not seeing with this government or the next government, they're taking these off the table, because they need to give a lot of money to the military, because Trump wants us all to pay for cool planes and shit instead of education. So these are coming, and universities already prepared for this. So they already made huge budget with it, staff cuts, with bigger classrooms, with it in EUR they're closing 5 buildings.
Yes.
They are demolishing them. So yeah, with it, this has a huge impact on our school.
Yeah.
With it specifically, so I think it's also valuable to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think at EUR we see and feel a bunch of it, but we also noticed that it isn't addressed as much. For example, when the budget cuts were first passed through law, there were many classes in which they did not discuss this.
Yeah.
Even though it primarily affects also the international students.
Yeah.
Because our international psychology program, what we do, this will actually be cut completely.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, you said about the what do you call it? The people already being fired.
Yeah.
The Dutch Royal Institute actually reported that like 2 years ago, maybe a bit over 2 years ago, the government still supported a motion through which there would be 1,200 permanent contracts for educators and teachers to guarantee both the quality of education and to reduce the immense workload they are facing. And now the government has said, we won't do this anymore. So these contracts are cancelled.
Yeah. And then I also think it's funny that they're taking these budget cuts from the international programs, but I think generally the Netherlands in education came to its position by being open about international students, because then you have a lot more different type of sources coming in and joining your study. And let's say they do get rid of all of the international students. I know that this started with psychology. In a few years, this might hop on over to the other social sciences, ultimately go to positive sciences like applied sciences and stuff like that. And just exactly what do you do as a country when your infrastructure was kind of already leaning on these international students to like your country, to study there, and then afterwards become a part of that country by working there and, contributing to the GDP and shit like that.
Yeah.
And now I think they're just fucking themselves over.
Yeah, because it's a massive problem, because you know that international students pay 10,000 euros study fees every
if you're
year.
not...
and Dutch people only pay 2,500. So a lot of the budgets for these departments are studied with it upon the international programs.
Yeah, exactly.
So especially for international psychology, like the whole social sciences with the department is studied on the incomes of this department.
Yeah.
So if this will fall, a lot of other courses will also fall in quality, and in because there's just less money. It's incredibly stupid in the money aspect. If you take away the pillar and then the whole house falls apart.
No, but then where do you take that pillar? You gift wrap it and then you send it to Israel.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't figured out why you want to do this. I get that like you want more Dutch education and with in universities and more with opportunities for Dutch people, but the problem is just giving more money to Dutch people and not taking away. So that's the only solution. So
and
you're just making things worse now.
Yeah. It's also crazy that they're trying to get this funding money by cutting off of education and healthcare. Like the two most important things alongside with law that you need to uphold an actual country, and they're mining away from it. It's like
because the Netherlands is the 7th happiest country in the world, and
happiest.
And the main reasons and the main reasons is high pay with free healthcare and free education and good education. And that is like the pillars of our society that we are taking away. It's so sad.
Yeah. And apart from that, this will actually cause... Do you know how much we will lose in GDP if they say, nope, we won't want the internationals anymore?
No, I don't know.
We lose 4 to 5 billion euros to GDP. While the government for short term, so one-time influx will make, I believe it was 132 million euros to help itself with its spending deficit. But GDP is the people's money. Like if anyone's going to notice this, it's us, it's poor people, it's normal people in the Netherlands as well. And the main issue with this is because you said you didn't really find out why. In the thing that kind of gives this context is the law internationalization imbalance. This was meant to retain Dutch in universities, and the point of this was also to slash accordingly the amount of international students.
Yeah.
However, this will disproportionately impact primarily the Randstad universities, and the Randstad universities, so roughly speaking, I think Rotterdam, Amsterdam, The Hague, they already offer a higher percentage of courses in Dutch than do a lot of the universities in the center of the country. Now, what is also the case is that 80% of educational programs are still in Dutch, so I don't think you can make the argument that the Dutch language is being threatened.
No.
And if you then think about what retaining things as Dutch might mean, it sounds more like nationalism than any economic decision.
Wow, how did you come up with that idea? How did you make that connection?
It has something to do with the past government we've had.
Yeah, because also they're talking about budget cuts to the education, but what we're really talking about is budget cuts in social sciences and sciences and humanities, because nobody's touching law or economics.
Yeah.
So it's the critical part of education that is being attacked by the cuts. Yeah. So that's also very important asterisks you need to put on the budget cuts.
Yeah, definitely. I think also, because you'll see it there mostly, but can you fathom the amount of staff that will need to be fired or trained in Dutch if they are to continue working here? Which means that you lose a bunch of really, really skilled people who are in positions where they know what to do, and I simply don't think we can fill this gap and retain the quality of education, and a bunch of educators and universities are of the same opinion. But I don't know. It's really... I can't believe they do this. I really can't.
No, it's stupid. But it's reality, unfortunately. Yeah. Which is so sad.
Yeah, but on a slightly more positive note, it is worth repeating that indeed last year the student unions and the local unions got 750 million off the budget cuts.
That was a huge win.
Yes, and this fight is not over yet as well. On the 9th of December actually, educators and students from all throughout the Netherlands will assemble again, and we will show that we will not take this and that we will not go down without a fight. Because right now what we see, I think, is a clear attack on universities and thereby a clear attack on knowledge as well.
Yes, and also one of the parties, D66, who won the election, is the the education party. Also, but so if hopefully they retain their promise of no budget cuts to education. I'm not really optimistic, but they better keep their word. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure. I don't know if D66 has such a good track record of keeping their word.
No, they have not.
Nope.
They were also one of the parties who voted in the lending system for students.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the lending system?
Instead of getting a monthly, with free money every month, you lend that money. You borrow that money from the government,
and then you have to pay back. And
then you have to pay it back at the end of your studies. In the beginning, they said this will be an interest-free loan that doesn't doesn't interfere with your mortgage and all this. But now, after some years have passed, they added interest. They added that it counts for your mortgage.
Yes.
So it's a huge betrayal of a whole generation of students who are now settled with a lot of student debt that they would just not have in this system. This system is the old system.
I see.
So you have the forgotten the lost generation of people who are stuck in the middle with large amounts of that they otherwise wouldn't have had.
You can't get a house, you can't pay off your student debts, man.
Yeah,
No.
but sounds like America over here.
Yeah. Hey, but if you work hard enough, maybe one day, if you just work hard enough, maybe you'll become a millionaire.
Yeah.
I think actually the Netherlands is quite a good mirror of the United States. We're just a bit later on all the steps are taken there.
I mean, I think they're definitely headed in the same direction.
Yeah.
You can make the argument that the governmental policies of the Netherlands might have socialistic notes in them, but at the end of the day, I think what they're doing is essentially the same.
Yeah, I agree. And I think from the past few governments, we've seen not even the appearance of socialistic notes anymore.
No.
It's just completely gone past. And the issue is also with this, same as with the housing crisis, where we saw that the private sector kind of swallowed it. There's some new budget plans for Erasmus University, and what we see already is that they have notified us. I've also seen this, by the way, in a NOS interview with the director. She says, yes, we shall work with the consultancy industry even more. And what we've just discussed are kind of the effects of the consultancy industry in the private sector. First on housing, then on why the government is not making any money.
In their budget, they for 2030 they're planning to patch a budget hole with 7 million in consultancy fees that the university wants to raise. So it's a trend that university, like Rotterdam University, is obviously the most with business university in the whole Netherlands. It's very like pro business with it. But yeah, it's obviously you get that's in mangling of interests between a good academic work and what's good for consultancy or private, just like profits for private individuals.
So then with the interference with the consultancy, what I'm imagining in my head is the campus to kind of look like a mall in a couple of years.
Yes, everything will be the food court.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, because everybody loves the food court.
It's so nice. The other day we were actually passing out flyers, and we walked up to two people. They weren't students. They were people from the consultancy industry trying to recruit students on campus. Apparently they were allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and handing out flyers is not allowed?
I think this was allowed. We just
we can't hand out flyers if the security saw us.
Really?
No, we can't.
I thought the flyering, because this is like the budget cuts is about her as well. I thought they'd be okay with this.
Oh, because of the ESSB's endorsement? Yeah, I guess, but then...
that's only ESSB.
That's only ESSB, and then I'm thinking like the time where we tried to do the housing action plan where we had the board and everything.
Yes.
We were giving up flyers then, and then the security... I remember him telling us, like, you can't do this, you also can't pass out flyers because essentially you're not allowed to do anything on campus if you're not recognized.
Yeah.
And we are not recognized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag recognized.
Yeah, we're doing so much for the university. Yeah. Because we can talk a little about STUUR if we want to cap it up. Because STUUR is it started all in 2001, and since then there's been a quest to get recognized. And that has not been as successful as we have hoped, but hopefully in the future we will get recognized. But we have done a few fun actions where you maybe know us of.
Yes.
Okay, we did we did a free food spar action. We did a lot of flyering around strikes. And now we are also trying to do a housing action and a coffee action in the future. STUUR is with the local student union for Rotterdam, because you have student unions in the whole country, in every major student city, and you also have a national organization of student unions where we're also part of. So STUUR is probably the biggest organization on campus right now that's not recognized.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame because we are trying to be students for students. With it, yeah.
Would you say you've been met with resistance by EUR?
In the past, yeah, but that was before my time, so I cannot comment too much on it. But there's definitely been not as much of a help as they would have liked in the setting up of STUUR, because the early boards of STUUR really want to cooperate with and set up a good student union, but was very reluctant and didn't give the help that they needed, because they really wanted to be a student union not only for our students but also for every student in the city, and that's still our goal and our thing. But doesn't like when students go out of the boundaries of
No.
So.
And those boundaries are quite narrow, I think, if you want to advocate around. Because I think generally also there's this idea at EUR that if a subject is controversial, we best not talk about it at all.
No, yeah.
And if you have important issues like the housing market, the budget cuts, and you want to raise these issues, I don't think EUR really appreciates that generally.
No, they want to protect their image at all costs. They don't want too much controversy. And that's understandable in some areas, but it's still a university and it's not a company that's needs to have like a good outward relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
It's university is a place for critical thought, in my opinion. So it also needs to be expressed and needs to be a place for. And that is also why it's very worrisome that students cannot just need to be a part of an organization to do anything at STUUR. Because we wanted to do a housing action, and we had a nice board where people could do their housing prices with a little sticker. It was a great action. And we're also advocating for the housing strike that was going on, the national student housing strike. But we weren't told off because we were not part of an official organization. But we are part of STUUR, and that's way that we find ourselves like good. But even like students who are just want to do something cool should have the ability to do something cool on campus and not be afraid for security. So in my opinion, if you just show your student card, you should be alright, because companies are giving out free things all of the time. There's lobbying groups, there's so much shady things that it's completely allowed. So students should just be allowed on campus to do whatever, because in my opinion it's a public space, although it's not, which is crazy.
No, and the student, like the university itself, like you said, it should be a place for critical thought, and I do believe that the university or universities should serve, if they're serving anyone, they should serve the students rather than any type of private company, lobby, even the government. I mean, I think they should put the students before the government, and I do understand that it sounds very fantasy-like, because obviously this is not the case. But the EU are not, handing students the ball in scenarios. I think it discourages the students even more and changes their perception of what they're able to have an impact on, what they can't. I see a lot of students going about their day without actually recognizing the problems that also do affect them. Also, like maybe not directly, but then again, they're still victims to the housing situation. If they're in an international psychology bachelor, they're in a risk of their program being shut down. I mean, but then when school doesn't encourage stuff like this that speaks out, that addresses the issues, then that cuts out from the outlet from which the students can hear about them. So that it might seem like is taking a political stance. It's like, we can't be controversial about anything, but that in itself is feeding the flames of the problem even more.
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. Because also has a huge problem, in my opinion, with like being disconnected from Rotterdam and the real world. And I think, with letting more own initiative of students in, with it, students like having a more active political life.
Yeah.
At STUUR is a good first step.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that would be more beneficial to the entire situation, because what you said, the fact that these issues remain silent means also that a lot of people don't understand that many other students are also going through this. They don't really notice anymore that, like, the size of the problem is mentally reduced so far, or otherwise your range of action seems so small.
Yeah.
But the thing is with this, and by allowing people to organize toward actions because you've also got to make yourself known. You could say no to flyering, posters, talking on campus, having a board for rent prices, but this is kind of how you get people together, how you talk about these issues.
Yeah.
And if you have a university that, regardless of the motive, is saying no, you can't ask people whether or not they're being screwed over for their rent.
Yeah, and that's like... that's like the least you should do. The least that you should allow students to engage in their own university on public grounds and not being told off by security.
Yeah, we're not asking for that much, actually.
No. Yeah.
I think like the attitude towards stuff like this makes me question what's EUR's endgame by not allowing these things to happen on campus, not letting the students be informed via one another. What's the end game? What do you want? What type of demographic?
Yes.
What kind of type of people do you want to produce out of your own school? And if it's people who don't really critically think and question stuff, as well as being opposed to maybe the consensus and stuff like that, then I think it's time to bring down all of the posters and the stickers. What does it say on the by the bells and stuff? It says the Erasmian way, contributing to society. Yeah,
the Erasmian way. We won't do shit.
We call upon the earth to actually do the Erasmian way and not just talk about it.
Yeah.
That would be very nice. Like, it would also help. You see these things where things get attributed to students, because, for example, while is working with Shell, then they also have like plastic cups now and a bunch of other shit that students are to pay for. I'm not saying these are bad initiatives. I'm just saying it's really hypocritical to keep on working with companies like Shell, even if they buy really good sandwiches. I mean, I see a bunch of people going there, so I'm quite sure they do. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of financial conflict, because the universities wouldn't mind so much the budget got set. They had more than enough money now. They're already running short on money. And there were also investment plans with earlier governments to boost education, and we've seen none of this return. And I mean, if we can't talk about issues now because they're representative more of the people funding them than of their own students, this will only get worse if they become more reliant on these companies, if they won't have government money anymore.
Yeah, it's going to deviate from the actual point even more, which is education, right? Like academia, it's something really, really important to the basis of a country.
Yes, definitely.
And they're selling it away.
Yeah, I would describe EUR's policies not as nationalism as does the government, but this is kind of like multinationalism. So you represent the interest of fractions, which kind of equate in terms of money they have, I think, to small countries. And you represent these rather than the body politic, rather than your students. Yeah. And I am aware that STUUR is now trying to make a run for this again.
Sorry?
To be recognized, to be allowed to do, to have actions. Because you were talking about the housing action, and there's upcoming soon a coffee action. Yeah,
because also with the coffee is in the machines is €1. It's way too expensive. It's especially because when you're studying, everybody drinks more than 3 coffees a day, and then that goes very quickly if you're living at campus like most students are.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's like a basic right of students to have free coffee, but coffee needs to be at least at production price, because a lot of universities have like coffee at 20 cents or just completely free.
Yeah.
And we are already working with some parties in the student council who also second this motion.
That's great.
So yeah, I expect a lot of us in the coming weeks with free coffee action.
Yeah, I think we're looking forward to it. And to round up a bit with housing again, what would you say that STUUR has as a goal or as a solution, or what do you want to bring to the table concerning the housing crisis?
Especially like the gap of knowledge that is currently still here about all the agencies in the city and what you can do for your own rent control. That is something that STUUR wants to do, and also on a more national scale, because a lot of student unions on a national scale are also dealing with the same thing. So leading up to more like a bigger strike, or organizing in a huge way to put pressure on the government to actually fix these problems. And also in March or April, there's going to be municipality elections here in Rotterdam.
Really?
And that's also a very critical point if you want to make your voice heard and make an impact in the city of Rotterdam, because during election time all the cards are on the table, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
So that's the future plans of STUUR. Yeah. So I hope everybody is listening who is interested to come and join us. We are you can find us on Instagram and on the website, which will be linked down below.
Yeah, and more information on all these topics will follow. This was just to give a bit of a context, and if you want, you could also become a member of STUUR, because we really need members. We must be recognized.
Please be members, please.
We need 50. We are almost there.
So even just a few of you could. And yeah, I shouldn't have closed this. No, it's fine. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. I think.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, or listening or whatever. I want to shout out.
Okay.
I want to shout out the students who see these issues and are aware of them, but don't have the strength to, change the world, of course, because none of us actually do.
No.
I think STUUR has the potential to be a great platform for all students, except for at least for Rotterdam. And it really takes some of the weight off of your shoulders to know that there are other people who are invested in the problems as much as you are. Don't sell out, and EUR invest in students and not fucking companies. I'm done.
Yeah. Would be nice. And I'm going to quickly throw in again, 9th of December there will be a protest against the budget cuts.
Amsterdam.
You can meet a bunch of people there, also from STUUR, but also from the local union. And this might also help giving you an impression about what we're trying to accomplish and who are involved. Because there's many more of us than I think all of us know.
Yes, and this is a teachers organized strike, so also tell your teachers, because they can get off. It's like a national strike, so...
Yes.
And then you also don't have class, so you can also come to the strike. Win-win.
No, but the classes are only cancelled, only the ESSP classes are cancelled, right?
Yeah, if the teacher wants to go, they can just reschedule.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
So December 9th, Amsterdam,
Yes.
4 o'clock.
See you there.
See you there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.